Now you can hear me.
Now you can hear me. Now you can hear me.
Now you can hear me. Okay. So, here we go. Starting over. I need to make an intro. Yeah, I know. Here we go. Let's just go through this, kind of go over what happened this week as far as scores for the different schools that are in our area and the ones that we cover. So, schools that we covered this week, of course, was Osceola and Lakeland for volleyball, and Clinton. So, let's get right to it. Osceola against El Dorado Springs. El Dorado Springs won that game pretty easily, actually. I didn't actually do the broadcast for that, but I did go back and watch a lot of it through our streaming service here. Yeah, it's going to be probably a rough year for Osceola all the way around, because quite frankly, they've got a lot of young players, especially in the volleyball team. Now, we all know that Osceola volleyball has been strong for several years. I haven't got quite enough coffee in my system yet. So, I think they only have one senior altogether. I just gotta make sure that I am live where I'm supposed to be. So, I forgot to check that. Yeah, okay. And it also appears that I forgot to change the all the wording. So, yeah, it does say El Dorado Springs against Clever. Oh well. You guys watching the video feed anyway. That's one thing with our system. We have to go in and set what it's titled and description and all that. And I forgot to do that. That being said, we also are streaming El Dorado Springs football. We're going to try to do some volleyball, but quite frankly, as anybody that's watched any of my vlogs or anything like that, we don't have the people to do it. We have the equipment, but not the people, which is sad, because everybody wants to see sports, but nobody wants to show up on a camera, it seems like. If I sound a little frustrated, it's because I am, because quite frankly, I've had a lot of people say they enjoy watching the sports. And as a side note, I had someone, I won't say who, contact me from Stockton, and they're just like, how do we get you back to our games? Because we did the Stockton El Dorado home opener at El Dorado, and they just loved it. And what we did with that is we streamed to several platforms in El Dorado Springs, Chamber, Booster Club, a bunch of different places. And then we also streamed it to their quarterback club. And I guess this person has been bugged to death about covering their games, or having us cover their games. But unfortunately, like I told him, don't have enough people to run equipment. Have the equipment, but don't have enough people. So anyway, back to the highlights. Osceola fell to El Dorado Springs in volleyball, and then on football, Osceola took on Jasper, and the game ended 66-14. 8-man football, for those who aren't familiar with it, usually you have higher scoring games. Because El Dorado Springs and the Clever game was canceled, we just took our entire crew and went over there to the Osceola game, which seems to be a trend now, because that happened with the first game of the year. I will say this about Osceola: they're a little rusty, shall we say. They run a lot of passing plays, and unfortunately, this particular night, they just did not get the completions that they needed to. I went back and kind of watched the game a little bit, and if they would have completed 20% more of their passing plays, this would have been a game that came down to the wire. If Osceola can get those passing plays that they're running, get a little more practice on them and run them, you're going to see a lot better Osceola team. So that's kind of Osceola. Jump over here to Lakeland. We did cover the Lakeland volleyball game and against Ballard on Thursday. Looks like let's go ahead and give you some information here. The boys lost in baseball 21-1. Okay, moving on. Girls volleyball win against Ballard. Varsity did I think they did, if I remember right, Lakeland won the first game, Ballard won the second game, and then Lakeland won the third game. Very evenly matched. Go back and watch that. In fact, I do have this thing set up to we can do little replays. So actually I could run that. Let's just go ahead and run the replays. I think this will include some of the junior varsity, which junior varsity actually I think lost and losing to Ballard. So yeah, let's just go ahead and run that. There you go. Back to me. So, that was the girls at Lakeland. All right, moving on. Scores. Windsor. Now Windsor's got a really good football team. They ended up winning 41-0 over Lincoln. Who Lincoln, as you may know already, went to the state championship game 2 years in a row, lost both under Coach LeFevre, who is now the head coach at Clinton. We'll get to Clinton here in just a second. I cannot, on the website here, on Mish's website, it does not have the volleyball scores for Windsor, and so I apologize, I just don't have that information. But as far as Windsor's concerned, and that was one of those teams that we were considering covering. Okay, this is volleyball. Actually, it does show here that on the 31st, the girls lost to Skyline. Let's go back over here to football. Yeah, so of course last week Crestridge, Windsor against Crestridge, 36-20, and then Lincoln 41-0 this week. It looks like without their man Coach LeFevre, they're suffering a little bit or slacking a little. That's not a proper way to put it. But they're not doing as well in Lincoln. So. But my understanding is that group of seniors that took them twice to the state championship all graduated out, and they're kind of starting over, which happens with every school. Right now it's happening with Osceola. They graduated a good crop of seniors that They are now missing. Appleton City fell to Drexel, who plays with Miami. Miami? Drexel? Huh. They play together. Didn't know that. Volleyball. It's not giving me any volleyball scores here. No, let me click over here. Sometimes it... No. It is not giving me any volleyball wins or losses on that. Football. Appleton City struggling this year. Of course, they had a really good team last year. The quarterback got hurt, and I think the last game of the season, and then could not play in the first round of the playoffs, and they ended up losing that game, if memory serves me correct. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So anyway, last week, Stanberry beat Appleton City 18-58. Of course, this is 8-man football, so you're always going to see a little bit higher score. And then they fell to Drexel with Miami, 34-6. Moving on to Clinton. Now, Clinton, we were, you know what? I have Clinton's highlights here that I could pop up. Clinton volleyball. The girls are really good this year. It's the same girls that basically played last year. A lot of them. They didn't have very many seniors, I think, playing last year in volleyball. But the juniors and sophomores that play are really good. And now a lot of them are seniors. I think Maddie's a senior. Morgan is a senior now. But they've also got a lot of underclassmen, sophomores that are good, including Mercedes Brown, who actually played a little bit on varsity as a freshman last year. I thought last year she was a sophomore and was going to be a junior this year, but I was wrong. She's a freshman. So exciting to see her play. She's going to be a really strong player, and she's exciting to watch. She's not as tall as Maddie or Morgan or some of the others on that team, but she definitely plays with a lot more. She plays with fire as well. So, plus I went to school with some of her uncles, Brian Brown and Richie. Actually, I think, is Richie her dad? I think Richie may be her dad. But anyway, Brian did send me a message or post on the Facebook. Thanks for streaming this. So, Brian, if you're watching, you're very welcome. We love to do this. We really do. And drink Death Wish coffee. They're not a sponsor, by the way. You know, speaking of sponsors, I should have ran the sponsors that I have here. I could bring that in. But just wanted to do this. Clinton highlights. Let's go ahead and run that now. Come on. Why are not? Okay, there we go. So, I don't know how long this is, but we'll run through it. We had all three of our crew members over at the Adrian game. They played and won. Adrian's got a young team. I mean, as we all seen, the seniors that were there graduate, and then you have the underclassmen that maybe didn't get to play as much. I will say this about Adrian is, even though they have a young team and they struggled in this game, by the time that these girls are seniors, they're going to be good again. They're going to be good again. It's obvious. It's obvious. So it looks like this is 1:28 seconds. So let's just roll this and let you all see the Clinton girl highlights. Thanks to Josh for producing this, by the way. Did a really good job. Very good. Coming along awesomely. Awesomely. Is that a name? Is that a word? Awesomely. He's doing an awesome job anyway. Learning the system, and really we kind of threw him into producing right off the bat. He picks things up really quick. Of course, that's what he is. He's a photographer and a producer. Go check out his show, Real-Time Movie Reviews, and then Real-Time Photo as well. He does an awesome job. In fact, his photography is probably better than mine, I'll admit. He's really got an eye for it. So anyway, here we go. We're gonna roll this beautiful bean footage. Come on, come on.
There by Clinton.
Should be watching these on instant replay. She didn't wear the brace anymore, and it didn't seem to affect her.
And a nice little dink.
We do have the JV, or varsity going here. Oh, a nice spike by Brown.
He is always in on the big plays like that. And Mercedes Brown with the Clinton going over in two, hoping to catch them off guard, but it just doesn't quite work out.
And from the back, gets it over the net. Ball back over. Jack.
Maddie Alexander and Mercedes Brown, I believe. And that's the right side with those sets now.
Oh.
Hit to your varsity game.
Yeah. Off the fingertips of Brown. Keep an eye on our social media on Sounds Like Videos to see. Oh. Nice over. Page sets. Jackson spikes.
And the point will.
You know, some of the missed.
Have time enough to just see if they need to spike it or just tip it or just hit it off into an area that there may not be any players. Jackson was really good. I hope I got her name right. I'm pretty sure it is Jackson. If not, I apologize. Anyway, seen him do that a lot. You know, we also seen Mercedes Brown come in as a sophomore and play and just doing a phenomenal job as well. You know, yeah. So anyway, this highlights for those. Trying to produce as I do this, and then we got the Osceola highlights as well. We'll run those at the end. Osceola kind of struggled in that game against El Dorado. So who else we got here? Clinton football. We haven't gone over Clinton football. Yeah, and once again, the boys, you know, we're rebuilding in Clinton. So, and then also they were playing the team that just won the state championship, Odessa. Pardon me. So, 55-0. Of course, the week before that, they played California, 61-21. This trend's probably going to continue. I'll be perfectly honest. Holden, you will probably see a better game next week, and it will be at Holden. Holden played. Who else did Holden play? Let's just click over there. Was it Sherwood? Yeah, Sherwood. And that was a 20-6 game against Sherwood, which they lost to Sherwood. That's Coach Carney, which is Clinton's former coach. Also coached at Osceola as well. It's more Blackbush coffee. And it looks like Holden also lost to Boonville, 74-2. So that means there was a safety. So anyway, when Clinton plays Holden, that will probably be a little bit more evenly matched game. I've only been able to go back and watch the video footage from from this week's game with Clinton, and obviously, I don't think that was a good telling of how good or how bad Clinton's team is, because they're playing the former state champions. And last year, we actually did the video coverage for Clinton football, and we played Odessa twice. Once in the regular season, and then in the 10th game of the season, which is the first round of the playoffs. And I will honestly say, in both games, we got a good look at their second and third stringers, and even their, I think it had to been at least their backup running back, or maybe their third string running back. He's got talent. So you're going to see a very good running game from Odessa for the next probably 3 years. With that kind of talent, I don't remember their names or anything like that, and I didn't bother to go looking up on the rosters. But anyway, Odessa is going to be good for the next few years for sure. So I think that covers just about everybody. You know, Windsor's going to be a tough team to beat this year. So yeah, Tracy will be glad to hear that. Yes, Tracy, I know your kids play, and yes, I know you wanted me to cover their games, and yes, I did want to, and I do want to. As you all know, it is our goal to cover as much local sports on video as possible. We are in the process of building, making a large investment here into the community, and I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, this is it's a business. Yes, it's part of my business, but it's also a passion. Love and enjoy doing this. Started off just wanting to do some photography work, and did video photography, sports photography. Can't talk this morning. And then moved on into video. I've done this. This is my 8th year of covering sports. So very much enjoying it. Very much. So awesome. Okay, so I told you I did have Osceola highlights here. Let's go ahead and roll it. It's only about a minute long. This is Osceola at El Dorado Springs. Of course, Osceola struggled in this game, but you know, hey, they're kind of rebuilding their program. A lot of young girls. I think they only have one senior. So.
And a good setup there by number 15, Hannah Wynn. El Dorado Springs. We get the up. And the spike by number 2. And the spike, number 1, Caitlin Gray. And now number 23, Danny Ogle in the men's matchups. They have just a little bit of height advantage. And number 23, Danny Ogle for El Dorado Springs. And a nice spike by number 2, Tevi Gurley there is Hannah Winburn on the serve there for El Dorado. And number 7, Macy Mays with strong serve through the middle. And the spike by Macy Mays. And number 2, Tevi Gurley up.
Definitely looks. You can definitely tell that the. So you can tell that the girls were getting a little frustrated in there, and of course Stacy and I, who ended up calling that game, talked about it a little bit, and she was just, you know, she was saying that you know, you could tell by the end of it they were getting frustrated, and that happens in sports. It just does. So, anywho. 23-minute long video here already. Able to run some highlights. Glad to be able to do that finally. Yes. We're going to ramp up this production eventually, and hopefully this will grow into, you know, kind of a weekly show. Of course, I'm doing it all myself. But you know, we want to up the production value not only here in the highlight show and wrap-up show, but also on when we're in the gyms and at the field as well. I will say this, Osceola. Had a lot of people put in the comments, you know, hey, it's lagging, it's, you know, skipping, it's every 2 seconds, it's whatever. The reason why that happens is at Jasper, we had to live stream the game via cell signal. And when you do that, it is an unreliable source of streaming. I think at the time, well, I could give you the details of it, but the cell signal strength we had out there was just barely fast enough to be able to stream. I mean, it was right there on the bottom end of that line where we can stream. And then if you have a situation where a bunch of people just happen to open up their phones and streaming maybe a video or that, or doing something on their phones that's using data, then we end up sharing that data with our stream. So that ends up bumping us down, and then that means we lag. So that's what ends up happening. That's one reason why we always put the disclaimer on there that if cell signal does not work, then we will do it on game delay. Basically, we will go in, we'll shoot and record the game the way it we normally would, and then we will broadcast it the next morning is the goal. Honestly, if it's a situation where the cell service is so lacking, we may not even try to broadcast it because we want to present a good product to you guys. So all you people there at Osceola, hold tight. This last game was a little bit rough. It was. Let's not kid ourselves. But you know, they're putting it together. It's a process. It's a process. So anyway, we're glad to be there, glad to be at the game, win or lose. You know, we're here to provide so the parents and the families can see and see safely as well. All right, it sounds like somebody has now turned on their weed eater, so I've got this buzzing sound in the background, so I am going to just kind of ship off from here. So that being said, let me do this. Add this here. And just because we love our sponsors, we do. Say thanks to all of them. I didn't get this set up. Set chroma key. Use chroma key. Save. So, all right, in closing. We're going to go ahead and write our sponsors here. Thanks to Jim Rasick and Missouri Farm Bureau Sugarfoot, where I ate last night right before the rodeo. Of course, Weird Sounds Like Videos. Golden Valley Memorial Healthcare. Integrity Floors. Landmark Restaurant. I love their fried chicken. Clark Tire. Just right there north of Clinton. C Squared, where we got our mask. Real Time Photography. That's Josh. Prineville Co. Great pizza. Great pizza. Bernard. That's where we get our taxes done. Of course, Einstein. And Creative Paints. Thanks so much for helping us with the Coaches Show. And then here's a list of all of our sponsors at whatever level they may be. Thank you guys so much. Everybody that's on there, you know, they make it all possible. Now I'm gonna get out of here. So, all right. Thanks a lot. Like, share. Hey, and whenever the games come on, share them. Please share them. That helps so much. If you have family members that can't be at the games, or even if you're at the game, or open up your phone and share it. Open up your phone